just remind the audience that please make sure that you don't press the button of the mics, because we can hear like some noise background while the speakers are talking. So I see some red colors on the mics. So just press the button. Thank you very much. So now our next keynote is Mr. Sami Khursani, the Managing Director of Saudi Entrepreneurship Center. Sami has been of great support to the EI, and Aramco, of course, in large, has been of great support to KFUPM. It gives us a pleasure to welcome Sami to talk about Saudi Arabia venture capital role in developing Saudi entrepreneurial mindset. So please join me welcoming Sami.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wal. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really privileged to participate in today's event at Dhahran Techno Valley. And I would like to thank the organizing committee for giving me the opportunity to speak in this distinct forum in issues related to entrepreneurship development, and most importantly, to be surrounded with highly intellectually powered professional leaders like all of you. Also, I would like to pay special welcome and gratitude to all of our guests who came 1,000 miles away from their home to support this event. We are really honored with your presence, support. Today, I'd like to share with you some insight of one of the most exciting initiatives which was launched by Saudi Aramco to support entrepreneurship. Our talk today is not going to be like last year about talking about entrepreneurship developments. I'm going to talk about venture capital program. And I'm going to talk about venture capital program from two aspects, from human resources or human capital development, which is very important, creating, I would say, developing and shaping the behavior and the pattern and the character of the entrepreneur, as well as the investment platform that we have to create and facilitate the development of technology-based ventures. So in a sense, I'd like to share with you some of our story and what we called a risky investment in Saudi talents. And over here, I want you to capitalize on two words: risky investment and talent. Because to us, when we engage with any entrepreneurship or innovative or venture capital opportunity, we look into two things. How innovative is this deal of law? How innovative is this concept? And how promising is the applicant, the entrepreneur? How promising? We need to look about many factors. It's not only restricted to his business savviness, which is an important element, but also we need to look about, does he have a passion on that idea, on that concept? Is he willing to walk the talk and take it from inception to execution? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very challenging job. And is he willing to live a journey that take his idea to a pilot, to a business plan formulation, a proof of concept? Is he willing to work with the venture capital staff to develop a reasonable venture capital investment thesis, and he understands all the terms and conditions? A lot of knowledge to be shared. I like the previous speakers who brought very good concept. And they talk about innovative entrepreneurship. We need to cultivate the culture of innovative entrepreneurship. We need to look into the social aspects of that deal. What means the social aspect? Anytime we review a deal, we care as an organization to the well-being of the society. So we want to make sure that when we engage in venture capital, our aspiration is not to involve in a transaction where there is a huge IRR, even though we welcome any opportunity that bring huge IRR, but also we look forward to opportunity that have job creation index. So today, we will shed lights on behind-the-scene efforts that we do. And I just elated some of these issues that we are looking about it. And we want to present you some challenges and issues that we need to address it. And to be honest with you, we cannot really address it alone. We need to address it from a holistic approach where we want to engage with subject matter experts, people with talents, people with knowledge, people who were there with us a long time ago, and they were involved in many venture capital transactions. We need to focus on capitalization, on capitalizing on the synergy and energy between the academic, the private sector, the banking, investment agencies, as well as promoting a healthy entrepreneurs under the table. So my agenda will focus on to an introduction about who we are, what's our DNA, what's our identity as an organization related to Saudi Aramco in fostering a very important sector in the entrepreneurship called the venture capital. We'll share with you some behind-the-scene efforts, issues and impact to our local economy and opportunities for us to excel on promoting a technology and innovative-based entrepreneur who led to the creation of innovative SME that add value to our economy. And before I start, let me share with you in a high or on a macro level some of our social challenges. In kingdoms, we are a young nation. We have untapped assets. 2/3 or more than 2/3 of our populations are young. What it means? They're full of energy, optimisms, and educated. That's great assets that we need to capitalize. We knew we have a great opportunity right now. Our oil prices is down. People started to be innovative about what are we going to diversify our economy. You know, these negative indicators sometimes is a positive indicator to energize the entrepreneurship ecosystem. While the price of oil is down, we need to work more of our journey to diversify our economy. We knew that our employment rate is getting up. It's not because they don't have a job, but they may have a job, but it's not be the right job for them. So job design is really required. And we knew historically when we done a benchmark, when we looked at the percentage of the Saudi nationals who have a business, we end up having 4%, which is relatively lower compared to other nations who have similar GDP. This will necessitate to us to look into how can we ignite the entrepreneurship spirit, and we have more of our young talents pursue a business venturing or entrepreneurship journey. Those are really drivers for us to look to entrepreneurship from a very holistic way. So what we do in Saudi Aramco, what's our identity? Especially in the venture capital program, and this is introduction. Unlike Dr. Wabut, when he said about social, we looked about social entrepreneurship, that's what we do. We basically believe that we are one of the few, if not the only social venture capital fund we have in Saudi Arabia. There could be other, but we are the premier and maybe the first. Our social venture capital fund started in 2012. And we will look to a deal, we don't look to it from a pure economical impact, but we will also look into how this deal enhances the social development of the nation. So job creations is very important, and sometimes it's more important than the internal rate of returns. And what makes very specific is that the fund originated from Saudi Arabia and spent in Saudi Arabia ventures and to support entrepreneurs or small SME who will add value to our economy. And we provide a ticket site, I think very lucrative ticket site, because we understand that some SMEs, they are capital intensive, even though it's driven by innovation, and their scalability could be high, and they need higher tickets. We provide up to 19.5 million riyal, which is 5 million riyal. And for a startup, first round investment, what it means that we are promoting the risk-taking appetite. And this is the comment that His Excellency Dr. Sultan said, that we live in uncertainty, the cultural is somehow is a risk averse. We are trying to develop among our leadership and among our community the notion of, okay, if you have an innovative concepts or opportunity and you can frame it in such a way that you can display the value proposition of that opportunity, we are willing to shake hands with you and we are willing to take risk with you. We are sector specific. We support entrepreneurial in specific sectors, but our sectors are vague. We cover all energy, oil and gas sectors, health sector, education sector. Basically, even though I use the word we are sector specific, what I meant is that there are two areas that we don't go on it, which is a normal contracting jobs as well as entertainment. But all the sectors are open for us. So maybe, the word sector is specific shouldn't be the right word, because our sectors are huge. Okay. But these are sectors that the board of directors decided that we don't want to deal with it because there are a lot of venture capital fund operate on that domain. And we basically try to ignite the entrepreneurship from the early beginning, from startup. Yes, we accept people in the growth or entrepreneurs in the growth who have a business, but our distinction, which is different from any other different financial firm, venture capital, is that we deal with startup. It could be from a seed beginning or an early stage innovation. So we support people early on. So at the end of the day, we operate and we classify ourselves as a caring organization in supporting entrepreneurship. We really have an energetic team with cross-functional team. And this is our human capitals, that they are willing to work with every entrepreneur in the community through a very well-structured processes from pre-funding till post-funding, from pre-investment to post-funding, from understanding the innovation, working with the entrepreneurs, developing a value proposition with him or her, coming with investing thesis. Not only that, our investment manager go in front of the board investment committee and defend the case in front of the chairman of the board investment committee. We do the pitching on the behalf of the entrepreneur if it needed. And we understand in an environment which, like what His Excellency Doctor and all the previous speakers talk about it, is emerging uncertainty, ambiguity, and sometimes harsh. Yes, we are taking risk. Yes, we still support our entrepreneur financially and intellectually. And we have one motive: to harness Saudi talent's potential. So our services have two elements. I know most of people get excited about the money. $5 million per deal for early stage innovation is a great compliment. But when we review the deal, we make sure that this money will give into a deal in which there is a good degree of innovation and scalability. And the most important thing is how ethical, promising the entrepreneur. So we have a lot of tests that we have to do. And then we have other programs, we call it human capital development. And that's something that we are working, and we love to work with academic institutions about it. There is a lot of things that we do in training and development and mentoring to our entrepreneurs in coming with a value proposition, pitching the value proposition, how to bring the good things to the society first. What's the impact? We need to talk about the impact first. Toward the well-being of the society, toward the well-being of the humanity, toward the well-being of job creation, to the economy, and then we need to talk about what's in it for him. We want him to grow, but we want our community to benefit. Also, when we look about investment, and this was a discussion yesterday with the esteemed member of the EI boards, Dr. Wael and the rest of the team, we told them when we look into venture capital, we look about equity injection, and there are protocols and etiquettes and processes, and sometimes it's getting really complicated. The whole culture is centered around, in this community, two aspects: conglomerate companies or a small companies, sole owners company, in which usually those people have a high degree of freedom to operate. But when we deal with investment opportunity, there will be a creation of limited liability venture, LLC. What it means that the entrepreneur, even though we have the, I would say, the minority stakeholders, cannot have a complete freedom to operate. There is a board of director, there is obligation that he have to do, there is obligation against the stakeholder that you have to understand, there is obligation toward the prosperity and the transparency of the organization. So you have to, there is a different protocols have to be done, and we need to develop our entrepreneur to understand how he manage his behavior, his working processes, his working procedure, and this limited liability corporate structure. And that's something new that needs to be cultivated, and there is no better than engagement between industry, financial institution, and academic to cultivate that knowledge at an aerial stage. And the good thing about entrepreneurship and venture capital is that we work with issues with different things, and we have a multidisciplinary team, a cross-functional team. And you see most of them are available right now in this forum. You will see people with investment, knowledge, and education. You got some people who work in technology, due diligence. Some people, they talk on financial due diligence. Some people, they talk about market due diligence of certain area. We have people that they look into portfolio management. As an organization, I will be incubating many companies, and I'm responsible for a fund in front of my stakeholder. I have to show some portfolio management. I have to show some reports about what is my portfolio. So we got people that look to, or basically work in making sure that all these companies are not only profitable, but they are in a good standing to minimize any potential risk to them, because any potential risk to those organizations will cascade to a risk to the overall portfolio. So when you look about venture capital, it's a very complex, a really very complex issue. I'm really proud to say that we had 11 investment for the last 2 years, and also we ask question, what is the value? We want to make sure that there is a value driven on all our investment. In terms of it will create highest in job creation index, it will enhance the development of a rural facility or area. It's a product that will minimize the export. It helps us to scale up our energy value chain. It's really innovates. It is a game changer. and basically it's replaced certain item which is imported. And the good thing about it, I have to admit, is that we are doing it here to ensure that those ventures are led by young, talented peoples. They are not led by people who've been in the business for many, many years. They could be advisory to those companies. So just to give you some highlight about the ventures that we incubated till now, it's basically 11 deal was signed with 70 million riyals. And basically the majority falls into what they call it, information and communication technologies. And we understand that the ICT business is very growing. It's growing here, it's growing in Silicon Valley, so it's not a surprise that we have it over here. And those ventures hopefully will create 605 jobs, around 600 jobs in 2019. And 50% of them will be Saudis. Because as I mentioned to you, what's the impact of those ventures? We care about the social development impact. We talked, Dr. Bob, about social entrepreneurship, how these companies have the social development. In job creation, they really add value. And our process is really, we are running a very complex engine. It's basically, we react on how healthy is the innovation ecosystem in the community. And that's the reason why we hope that our educational programs will provide candidates and the graduates with an innovative mindset, with entrepreneurial mindset. That will help us. So we screen idea, we conduct due diligence, whether it's market due diligence, financial due diligence, legal due diligence sometime, and we present it to the investment committee, and then we approve. So as you can see, out of 60 opportunities we screen this year, is only 3 approves, and we expect that 5 will be approved by end of the year. But here we are talking about really what Dr. Robert mentioned. We're talking about technology-based and innovative-based venture that basically is going to be a game changer or something that will add value to our economy. We have a different program to promote entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship activities on classical type business where we give loan but we don't issue equity, we don't inject equity. But this is very specific for high innovative opportunities which has the scalability route. Now, some people say, well, you got 11 for the last 3 years. Maybe you're underperforming. And the question, I said, well, this is a good comment. But to me, to validate this comment, let's show me the benchmark. So we really benchmark our performance versus MENA, which is Middle East, North Africa region, VC investments. And what we look based on an annual report, looking at the deal flow between 2011 and 2014, that this area there is no lack of money, there is no lack of fund. There are 46 venture capital funds. 139 deals were executed in the MENA, approximately only 5 deals in Saudi Arabia. And the question, why? Only 5 deals in Saudi Arabia. And what we found based on research, that really we are lacking the truly innovative VC deal. But I need to qualify this statement. Why I'm saying we are lacking a truly innovative VC deal. I think we have a lot of brain power among our young communities. But those young people with very ambitious innovation need to be engaged with spiral entrepreneurs, and this is the key word, to refine their innovations. So it will be a good deal opportunity for venture capital. So really lacking the spiral entrepreneurship spirit and lack of mentorship house or mentoring organizations who can serve with the role of advisory to those young talents contributed to this low figure. Secondly, we have very challenging regulatory environment. Anytime we execute a venture capital deal, the way this venture capital process like private equity. This means there will be article of incorporations, shareholders agreements, voting powers, and a lot of legal terms that make it a little bit cumbersome. The processing times take long. So most people like to register venture capital companies in Bahrain or Dubai rather than in Saudi Arabia. But the good thing about it is that our Minister of Commerce and Industry is working with many organizations to streamline this process. Yeah. Now, when you look also into where most of the VC opportunities are in the MENA, where they are located in the MENA, you see that there's a lot of organizations like Morocco and Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, and others, and Dubai have 15%, and Saudi Arabia is 4%. I think it's not even, it's not legal environment is only one, but look about it, this company. These companies or these countries that they believe purely in diversification of their economy. And they get used to the small and medium opportunities. They don't have a big major project, so their private equity is equivalent to venture capital. And there is one article that they say that innovation is necessity is a mother of innovation. Those peoples, they look for their prosperity. They knew that the government support is limited to them, so most of the people, they were born with entrepreneurship spirit to survive. This chart, it shows that our performance compared to the others, and you can see that we are really ahead of the crowd in terms of deal executions. Even though with the restriction of, and I say with the discomfort or the inconvenience of some of the legal regulation that we have, but I think we had 10 VC deals, and they all are local in Saudi Arabia. Other ventures, while we respect what they are doing, I think they are doing a great job. They are our partners, but their mandate is to operate locally and globally. So they even though they say that they have many deals, but some of them are global deals. So just to give you the long story short, I think we need to cultivate venture capital in the kingdom. And one way to cultivate is through knowledge dissemination. And to be honest with you, we need to look to it from a very holistic way. We need to look into the ideations. And when I talk about ideation, we need to look about how we can energize our entrepreneurs to excite them to present their innovation, their innovative ideas, innovative concepts, innovative opportunities. And then there is a role of the mentorship team. We need to help those innovators to refine their concept. And in the ideation form, we really look to a big support of our academic peoples, from people in investment, serial entrepreneurs, to help these innovators. In the development stage, we need to ensure that this society equipped with a quality business accelerator and incubator that take these ideas to a pilot stage and help them to pilot their innovation. And in the validation, we need to work with them to make sure that they can craft a quality business plan that meet the expectation of the funding organizations. And this is the downstream, the upstream. We need to work with many organizations in the business sector, in the academic center, to ensure that those people can manage and run this organization. We need to introduce new programs related to human capital development, how to be a successful businessman or woman in a venture capital and a limited liability companies. We need to tell them the arts and the science of survivals in limited liability arena. And then we have to continuously support those organizations. We need to give them access to mentorship, access to market. We talked about it yesterday. If we can't work in guaranteeing some business to our entrepreneur, eventually they will die in an environment concentrated and dominated by big players. So these are the biggest issues that we have. At the end of the day, I need 1 minute. At the end of the day, we look forward to have products made in Saudi Arabia. This is one of our entrepreneurs who have an innovative business. He created a geophone which used for seismic to support exploration. And now his product has been shipped to Tunisia. I guess last week it was shipped to Tunisia. So really, this is an added value product, good innovations. The societies, the community is looking forward for it. It has a good implication in the kingdom, and the scalability part is that he is transferring his product right now out of the kingdom. Toward knowledge economy, this is my recommendation. We need to continuously work in changing the mindset. We need to accelerate innovation and promote innovative spirits. We need to enhance our academic curriculum in promoting innovation. And this is exactly the same recommendation that my predecessor talked about it. All the accelerator functions that we have in incubation have to be energized and expanded. We need multiple accelerators, not one or two in the kingdom. The local regulation need to be enticing for the entrepreneurs. You know, there is something called Article 180, which if any entrepreneur involved in a business opportunity and for a particular year, his losses exceeded 50% of the capital, he fall into 180, which led to bankruptcy. For a startup, we should look to opportunity to waive this article. And we need to look into working with MOKI, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, to expedite the process of forming a new company, whether it's a startup or a growth company. Ladies and gentlemen, let's complete my presentation. I hope I gave you some flavor of our challenges in exciting entrepreneurs who have innovative concept to create technology-based venture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sami. So although we don't have time, but I can allow just one question to be given to Sami. I'm sure, by the way, next year when he's gonna, present to us in the next forum, we're gonna see more companies coming out of our incubator supported by the VC of Aramco. So, question, you have, Joe, you can use the mic next to you, so.
Sami, that was an excellent presentation. And I applaud what you're doing, connecting Saudi Aramco to the innovator. My question to you is, you've got a fairly large portfolio, and if you look over that portfolio, for advanced technology companies, could you give us some sense of how long it takes these companies to develop from the time they're created to the time that they can be standalone? They can be a business on their own without significant help. Give folks a sense of that.
Okay, I think this is a good question, and I will answer it a little bit, then I will share it to the Chief Investment Officer, Wasim Basrawi, to maybe elaborate if he feels that he needs to elaborate. I think it takes roughly a year or 2 years to work with the entrepreneur. I mean, from inception, we engage with him. We look into the prototypes. Maybe we take him to accelerators. Maybe we help him in coming with a good value proposition. We refine their value propositions. We can find them easily, but until he survives and he got a positive return in his book, it will take some time. And that's the reason why I mentioned to you that we operate as a social development fund with a venture capital mindset. Or venture capital fund, it's reverse. It's a venture capital fund with a social development mindset, okay? The minimum deal that we executed was 6 months. Am I right, Wasim? It's 6 months. Wasim is the person behind you. And they all And I think there's no good or bad answer, there's no right answer. It's all about how the entrepreneur engage with us and give us the right information and excite the investment manager. It's an art. VC deal transaction is an art. We don't look to it from a business savviness, from IRR, or how good is the financial model. You need to excite me that it's really innovative and scalable, and you can walk the talk and run the show alone. Because what happened? I'm going to be part of the shareholder of your company. And true that I'll take the minority share, but I will be associated with the risk that you create. And also I will be associated with the reward you create. So, and that's something, the talent that we try to cultivate to our entrepreneurs, that it's true that we care, and we give liquors of money and all the support, but we want you to be accountable for the result, and we want you to behave as a very robust, integral entrepreneur who can add value.
Okay, let's give him another applaud, over here. Thank you very much, Sami. All right. So we will have a break now, and we'll start at 10:30. So please be here, right at 10:30. Thank you.